I love how badass this is. We're like, this is like the least badass.
And we're like, you're tender
We're in a therapy
heart.
session.
Who's the target?
Your characters are so badass. What's the most badass thing about each other?
I love that my character's been called badass. I've never been called badass in my life. What is the most badass thing about Lashana? I think how well she knows herself, how passionate she is about what she does, and how meticulous she is. Are three qualities that I really admire, and I've also learnt a massive amount from you.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh my gosh, so am I. Okay, well, I was also going to say tenacious because your eye for detail is something that I always admire and always take from. Not steal from, I'm trying to lend like a kind of shared experience with you, I feel, every time. It's such a wonderful moment. Sorry, I
love
this.
how badass this is. We're like, this is like the least badass.
And we're like, you're tender
We're in a therapy
heart.
session.
The levels of badass I'm feeling right now,
Exactly.
it's powerful.
But it is badass to be these, you have a sensitivity that is really, really
Badass.
strong. It's strong. No,
She's
honestly.
an actor.
But no,
She's an actor. She's good at selling.
in order to be, and you'll see from the show, just to wheel it back, in order to be badass, you have to come from like vulnerability and experience and all those things that you unearth things really, really well in a safe way. I find. I know you don't think that, but in a way that like I don't know, you feel safe in his presence because you know that decision's going to be. I don't know. I don't know about reality. I'm talking about the show.
That's where the badass comes out.
No, really, honestly, I just want to say, you've got a boat on you that's like Eddie Redmayne. Booyah. You're welcome.
Boat.
You're a bow.
A boat.
Did you know?
A bow. I thought it's in a boat.
No,
Got a boat
you've got
on
a
you. I was
boat
like,
on
oh
your
yeah,
head.
I've got my boat on.
So we completely
Yeah.
I love
Back
this.
to questions.
I imagine working with Eddie must have been just a dream.
Amazing.
Did you help him out with his Spanish? Because it was pretty good in this.
Everybody's asking me for that. His Spanish sucks.
No.
But I have to say that he never asked me for help for his Spanish lines. But the only thing I told him is that he had to slow down a little bit the lines, because it's something that happens when you are like trying to say something that makes you feel insecure. You just want to say it quick, you know?
I'm sure he appreciated
I
it.
hope so.
I feel like people are going to be obsessed with this series. What was the biggest challenge for you in filming it?
A lot. Different things. I started speaking English 3 years ago, so every time I have to do a project that involves like speaking English 24/7, it's a lot. It's a lot for me. It's challenging. And then I would say the character was like pretty different from the characters I'm used to do. At the beginning, I was a little bit worried about not doing like a trophy wife. I was like, what's the point? This girl she doesn't know anything about it, or she really doesn't want to know. Then I realized that was the real arc of the character, like having her just living a good life and being happy, and that's it, and not being a very ambitious person, and then noticing about everything that she knows that something's wrong, and she really wants to know the truth, you know. So I think, yeah, that was inspiring.
Well, you did an incredible job.
Thank you so much.
Eddie, your character's disguise in the first episode is wild. And it got me thinking, if you guys could be anyone for the day, who would you want to be?
Oh,
Let me really think about this.
God, I used to get asked this question on Fantastic Beasts, but it was more like, what spell could you have? And I always kind of wanted to be invisible. And something about being that character in the opening episode, in which I was playing this 75-year-old German janitor, it was so well disguised that when I was out in the street shooting the scenes, I did feel completely different. The way you saw the world was different as well. But who would you want to be?
Aside from each other, of course.
A bird. I'd like to be a bird.
You
I
can
love the idea of
travel
being
for
disguised.
free. You can disguise yourself.
We're not answering your questions very well.
No.
A bird is a solid answer.
Okay.
Out there answer.
Exactly. Abstract.
But speaking of disguise, I was wondering, where's the most surreal place you guys have been recognised before?
Outside of public toilets?
Really?
Oh, yeah. That's always weird.
I'll never forget when I got engaged to my wife. We were in the outskirts of Florence, and I just proposed to her, and she just said yes. And then about 3 seconds later, 2 American tourists came by, and we were genuinely in the middle of nowhere in these hills, and asked for a selfie. And it was this horrible moment of going like, wait, we just got engaged. And I didn't know whether it's easier, it's rude to say no, or if you do this. Anyway, so I said quick yes to the selfie. And out there in the world somewhere is a selfie that was taken about 2 seconds after we got engaged.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
That's
still the
surreal.
moment. I've definitely been recognised like simple, not as big as that, but like eating a pizza, like mid bite, and someone's like, "Can I have a picture?" And you're like, "Yeah, technically, but just not right
Not
now."
this picture.
No, yeah, no.
I went to Tokyo for the first time, and I was waiting for my luggage at the airport, and I had the feeling that everybody was staring at me, and it was all Japanese people. And I was like, Ursula, it's impossible. You're freaking out. Like, there's no way in Japan nobody watched Money Heist. And then I realized that everybody was so hooked with the show because also my character was Tokyo. And that blew their minds, you know? And yeah, I would say Japan was the wildest.
That's incredible.
I just want to know who you are.
It would be a crime if we didn't talk cinematic assassins. Who are your favourite assassins on screen?
Well,
It's gonna be biased, aren't I?
yeah, go on.
Daniel Craig's Bond.
Daniel Craig's Bond. He's so bloody good.
He's so good. He's
He
so
is
good.
And
I'd
that
say
movie was so extraordinary. I'm going to say, because I grew up watching the original of this, The Day of the Jackal, one of the reasons I wanted to do it was because there's something so unique about that character and the way Edward Fox plays him, because of the way that he shapeshifts, and he has this slightly debonair. He's slightly more kind of peacocky than Bond, isn't he? He kind
Yes,
of he
much.
likes a bit of a sort of chic little necktie, and I'm into that. I'm all for that. That's my kind of assassin.
Yeah.
A well-tailored Savile Row dandy, casually ruthless.
I would say Hannibal Lecter.
Interesting choice of assassin.
I remember the scene where he eats the brain. Jesus Christ.
Scarred me for life.
That was insane. That was a lot.
I know, now you've got me thinking about that. I'm going to be walking out of here throwing up, so thank you for that.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Such a pleasure, and huge congrats on this
Thank
series.
you so much.